The American people were asked in a YouGov poll how they think Jesus Christ would feel about today's political issues. And the results are mixed, but they're also largely hilarious. Okay, so let me give you a rundown here. When it comes to the issue of gay marriage, only 32% of the American people say Jesus would be in favor of gay marriage. Now, look, nobody can know for sure. The guy's dead, and there's a small chance he may not have even existed. Although, there's some evidence that points to the fact that even though we clearly don't believe he was God, more likely a con artist, right? But there's some evidence that he did exist. But if you go through the Bible, it's the Old Testament where you have the anti-gay stuff. Jesus never said anything about gays. So the idea that, only 32% of people are saying, well, he'd be in favor of gay marriage, should at least be 50. At least the liberals should be like, no, I think he'd be in favor of it. Why? Because he wants to treat people equally and kind. So already we're off to a giant fail. How about on the issue of abortion? 52% say Jesus would be against abortion. So apparently 48% know the actual position of the Bible, as we've covered in detail. I don't want to go into it again, but just know if you think the Bible is so-called pro-life, you're wrong. Could I put it in a more simple way? I mean, just to give a quick example, there's a part of the Bible where God goes around and rips the fetuses out of the stomachs of the women in Samaria. There was another part where God commands that a woman who's suspected of cheating needs to drink what they call bitter water. It's a poison. And if the woman miscarries, then she did cheat, and it's good that you made her miscarry and did an abortion. But if she drinks the bitter water and the fetus ends up being carried to term and you have the baby, well, then it's your baby. So the Bible actually calls for abortion if your wife cheats. Tell me again how it's massively pro-life? Oh, you can't do that. That's right, because we're right. So again, 52% say Jesus would be against it. When it comes to universal health care, 55% of the American people say Jesus would support universal health care. That's not anywhere near enough, but at least it's a majority. Just 45% of Americans believe Jesus would support stricter gun laws. That's just pathetic. In the United States, if you're on the terrorist watch list, you can still legally get a gun. 40% of the gun sales in the U.S. have no background check associated with them whatsoever. You could be a paranoid schizophrenic. You could have severe depression. You could have serious psychosis. Schizophrenia. You could have all these problems. And just, if you go to the gun show, there's this massive gun show loophole. You could buy a gun. 40% of the gun sales in the U.S., no background check. But only 45% of Americans say Jesus would want stricter gun laws. No, I believe he would at least be in favor of universal background checks. Okay? He'd probably go further. But again, now we're just getting into speculation because he's fucking dead. Now, when it comes to taxes, only 47% of people making $100,000 or more say Jesus would support higher taxes on the rich. That's just ha-ha, he-he funny because there are endless quotes about how, better chance of a camel getting through the eye of a needle than a rich person getting into heaven, and give away all of your goods and follow me. Dedicate your life to helping the sick, the poor, the downtrodden, yada, yada. So they're just wrong on that one. Not even close. Not even close. I mean, Jesus, as I forget who said it. I wish I could give credit. But he's a Marxist before there was such a thing as Marxism. Okay? I mean, this guy is hippie, uber liberal, lefty, commie, pinko, you name it. Now, there were like a few bad days Jesus had. There's a handful of quotes, granted, where he, for whatever reason, just became violent. I don't know, he maybe had a hangnail or some shit. He had diarrhea. He was pissed for a day. But of course, if you were to break it down statistically and go through all of his comments, like 80-90% of his comments are way more liberal than I am. How about when it comes to carbon emissions? 52% say Jesus would cut carbon emissions and would be in favor of not destroying Earth. But I saved the best for last. What do Republicans think of Jesus' positions today? Oh, break out the popcorn. Go grab a Corona, man. Get some Jack and Coke. Whatever floats your boat. Light a blunt, sit down, relax, listen to this. Would Jesus support gay marriage? 9% of Republicans say he would. Stricter gun laws? Only 28% say he would support stricter gun laws. Because Jesus loved AR-15s. I know that for sure. He also liked rocket launchers and AK-47s, just all around pro-war. He loved that stuff. Higher taxes on the rich, 18%. But my favorite, according to Republicans, only 23% of them think Jesus would support universal health care. Yes, that's right. Jesus loved Aetna and Humana and Blue Cross Blue Shield. He loved kicking people off for pre-existing conditions. He loved capitalism, and he wants you to make a shitload of money off of somebody's cancer treatment. He wants you to kick off people when they hit their lifetime cap. Okay, and then you go bankrupt. Medical bills is the number one cause of bankruptcy in the U.S. He loves that. Why? He's in favor of profit. You don't know this? Come on, man. Jesus is basically on the same place on the political spectrum as Gordon Gekko. Yeah, I'm not sure if the people that were speaking about this read the Bible or Atlas Shrugged, and they thought it was the Bible. Their Jesus is Ayn Rand Jesus. But there you have it. The American people incredibly confused about Jesus.